The truth is, it all starts with water, and proper watering will account for 99% of your success in the overseed process. As a general rule, we want to keep the seed wet for about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the species of grass. Now, the germination period at which the seed goes from a seed to budding out and attaching itself to the ground, that can range between 7 and 14 days, depending on the species. It is a delicate process where you want the soil to stay damp. If it gets too wet, you're going to have surface runoff, and it will choke the seed out. If it gets too dry, the germination can occur and then the seed dries out and it dies. Setting the sprinklers for smaller increments of time more frequently during the day will be the key to your success of keeping it nice and damp without surface runoff. Now, the average sprinkler recommendation that I would say is 3 to 5 minutes, 3 to 5 times per day, depending on how hot it is and how much evaporation is occurring. Now, in the beginning of this process, just watch the dirt. If the dirt ever dries out, you need to add more time. Understanding that the seed should never dry out during this process, I cannot put enough emphasis on the fact that you need to prove that your sprinkler coverage is right. Now, grass seed is an important investment and it can be a costly one depending on the variety of seed that you have, so you want to make sure that you get the best germination possible. One of the biggest complaints that I hear is my seed didn't germinate and I'm pretty sure that I just got bad seed. Now, I understand this excuse is really convenient to use, but at the end of the day, lack of seed germination 99% of the time will come down to improper watering. A water output cup test can solve all those problems. Now, I purchased these cups off of Amazon. They're technically rain gauges, but they're a really easy device to use. They come in a pack of 10, and they've got spikes on them, and you just simply put them in the ground in a grid pattern. Now, I'll put some of the cups in the brown areas, some of the cups in the greener areas, and then we're gonna run a 20-minute cycle. After the 20 minutes is up, we're gonna check each and every single one of the cups. Now, if every single one of the cups has the exact same level, for example, in this instance, most of the cups are coming back at 0.1 of an inch. Now, we do have a couple of cups that are coming in at less than 0.1, almost bare. Now, those are the areas that we have to focus on fixing the sprinkler coverage in. Now, keep in mind, if we don't fix and improve the sprinkler coverage in these areas, regardless how many times we overseed it, the seed is not going to take. Now, it's important to prove your sprinkler coverage because if you don't, you're going to try to get creative and crank the water up so that way the drier areas get more water. Now, what ends up happening is in all the other areas you put too much water down, the seed washes out or it gets too wet and you saturate it, seed dies, you lose your investment. Now that we've proven our sprinkler coverage, it's time to move into another important subject that often goes overlooked, and that is a shorter than usual mow. Once we put the grass seed down, we're going to stop mowing for a period of 3 weeks. Now, during that 3 weeks, the average lawn is usually going to grow somewhere between 1/2 inch and 1 inch per week, which means that by the end of the 3 weeks, your grass is going to be an additional 1.5 to 3 inches higher than it was when you left it. Now, I prefer to get the grass down to about 1 inch. Now, most of you will be in a safe spot somewhere between 1.5 to 2 inches. Now, if you're good at planning, you can gradually bring the grass down, but if you choose to scalp it, you're gonna lose some color and stress the grass out a little bit. But in my opinion, it's not a big deal. Now, if your grass ends up growing way too long, you run the risk of choking out the grass seed and also choking out other areas of your lawn because it can't reach the sun. Now, if you've gotten yourself in a pickle and the grass is getting above 4 inches and it hasn't yet been 3 weeks yet, my opinion is it's better to mow the grass so the new grass can find the sun, but just be sure to leave the bag on your mower. If your lawn is consistently looking tired like this one, you may have a debris problem. Now, by debris, I'm mostly referring to lawn mowing clippings that have been sitting stagnant in the lawn for years and years and years that aren't decomposing. The most inexpensive way to remove debris is with a thatching rake, but it does come at a price, your body. This is the worst job in the world, by the way.
If you have very small lawns, this is a extremely useful tool. You can pick these up for about 35 bucks, and they work fantastic at removing debris.
Now, over time, this matter builds up and makes it impossible for new growth to occur. Now, you have to remember, if the seed cannot get proper soil contact and access to sunlight, it is not going to grow. To remove this debris, you can use a thatch rake, which is a very difficult device to use, or you can use the Sunjo dethatcher and Scarifier, which commonly sells for about $150 online and is one of the Ginja's top preferred products for homeowners to have. Just remember, you're not going to be able to get 100% of the debris in one pass or even one job. I recommend going over the lawn 3 different directions and removing the debris. You can use this device weekly, monthly, or twice a year for general maintenance. One huge frustration with the seeding process, you get all this new grass coming in and you get all these new weeds popping up at the same time. Now, it's important to remember that while we're germinating the grass seed, any seeds in the dirt that are already there, they're also going to be germinating. Weed control needs to begin before the seeding process. Unfortunately, the way that the products are designed is they kill the weed, but they don't kill the actual weed seed. Ideally, we want to do 2 applications of herbicide before we start the overseed process. Now, in the instance where we have grass and we have weeds, we want to use what's called a selective herbicide that's going to kill the weeds and leave the grass alive. Now, in the instances you guys have a lot of weeds going on in the lawn, it's not uncommon to have to spray the lawn twice to ensure that the majority of the weeds are actually dead. Now, the biggest issue with this is time. You have to wait 2 weeks between each spray according to most labels. And on top of that, you should wait an additional 2 weeks after your previous herbicide spray to put the seed down, which unfortunately for a lot of you warm season guys out there, you're going to have to plan a month in advance before you do the overseeding if you really want to get ahead of the weeds before you put the seed down. I find that one of the most frustrating aspects of the overseed process is annual grasses like crabgrass and foxtail coming up with your newly laid seed. It is true that you can't kill the weed seeds with herbicide, but what if I told you there were products out there that help with weed prevention? Now, Tenacity is classified as a selective pre-emergent. Now, what that means is if you have a very specific type of grass seed that you're going to put down, it will disallow other weed seeds and annual grasses from germinating with the specific type of grass seed that you're trying to grow. Now, Tenacity works best if you do 2 applications before putting your seed down. One of the major benefits of using Tenacity is not only does it act as a selective pre-emergent, but it's got selective post-emergent properties for killing annual grasses like crabgrass, foxtail, and it also kills other weeds like dandelions and clover really fast. Now, Tenacity plays well with other herbicides like Speedzone and T-Zone, so if you guys have hard to do weeds to get rid of, you can take the Tenacity and combine it with Speedzone or T-Zone. While it's still not recommended to use an herbicide within 2 weeks of seeding, you can use the combination of Speedzone, T-Zone, and Tenacity on your first application, and then when you're going to seed 2 weeks later, you can use the Tenacity as a standalone product while putting your seed down. Using this method is very valuable because it saves you 2 weeks of your life. Now, Tenacity is classified as a pre-emergent, but it's not the best one out there. I do not recommend using Tenacity as a standalone application for a fertilizer pre-emergent. There are far cheaper options out there like Prodiamine and Dithiopyr that do a better job. The only difference is if you use Prodiamine or Dithiopyr, you cannot overseed because they are not a selective pre-emergent like Tenacity is. My opinion on Tenacity as a pre-emergent is it lasts about 3 weeks at a time. Now, considering crabgrass only takes 5 days to germinate in your lawn, there is going to be a window where it is still possible that you're going to have other seeds germinating after those 3 weeks are up. Now that means if you're one of those lazy people that just refuses to pick weeds out, you're going to need to wait 6 weeks to do another Tenacity application. And it's important to remember that Tenacity is not the best standalone herbicide to kill post-emerging weeds. I still recommend using T-Zone or Speedzone, but you're gonna need to wait an additional 9 to 12 weeks from the time that you put the seed down to use products like Speedzone and T-Zone because they're just too harsh for newly laid grass. Tenacity is a fantastic product for what it was designed to do, and that's to act as a selective pre-emergent and to kill annual grasses such as crabgrass, foxtail, and poa. Tenacity is very satisfying to watch in action as it targets annual grasses and targeted weeds. For the annual grasses and weeds that it affects, it acts as a sunblock. The targeted weeds visibly turn white because they can't process the sunlight. One of the major disadvantages to using Tenacity is it has a potential to bleach the entire area of where you apply it. Take for instance my lawn. You can see the bleaching effect over my entire lawn. It was completely green before I used Tenacity and now it's not. To be honest with you, I still feel like the benefits outweigh the negative side effects since they are just temporary.
Well guys, this concludes my easy tips for overseeding a lawn. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up in the comments below. You know I'd love to help you guys out. Till next time guys, the Pest and Lawn Ginja, we're slaying lawns.